and get started. I see a couple more people coming in, so you all can just come in and find a seat. First, I'd like to thank all of you all for coming today. I'm going to introduce the SAR Staff Genealogist. We've got Denise Hall, who's a senior genealogist. We got William Birchfield. We've got Susan Julian. I put them on here, so I'm not taking people out of Vanessa C., J.C. Stokes, and Kim Robbins. And then we also have Tim Taylor back there, who's pulling double duty with registrar and genealogy. And then there's myself. I'm Deborah Maddox, for the ones of you all that don't know us. This presentation is going to be recorded by our marketing person, and it will be added to the SAR website for future viewing. So if there's something that I say that you miss or something, you all can watch that on the website. It will take a little bit of time because there is going to be some editing and stuff on it, but just to know that it'll be there in case you all miss a note or something. And lastly, I do have time at the end for questions. So if you all want to wait until then that way we can hopefully get through all of the presentation. So, oh my God,
let me interrupt. At the end, we're also going to turn our seats around, and we'll have whatever kind of questions.
Right.
About this, we're going to have a panel. So if anybody has questions about anything, we're here to answer them after she finishes.
So this is truly geared toward the family search full text, and it is just a new tool that we found, and I thought it would be very helpful for the registrars and the genealogists and just people that are doing their own research to kind of find out a little bit about how to use it. Just a little backstory first is FamilySearch.org is a free website created by the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. In 1938, the church started microfilming records from many localities in order to create a collection of records that could be used for research. Family Search started putting those records online for the general public's view in 2002. I've got other dates on here as far as how many more records they've got on there, and these all come from their website. But viewing the record is just the first step in making a record accessible. Creating a keyword search, searchable index is the next step in helping viewers to find the records in their collection. And until now, this step was only accomplished by volunteers transcribing the viewable text into Family Search computer software. And then, but unfortunately, all of their records that have not been indexed yet. And if left to their normal process, it would take many more volunteers and many more years than we all have added together to be able to get this completed. So Family Search, in their infinite wisdom, decided to see if they could get technology to help them a little bit. And this is where in spring of this year at Roots Tech, they made an announcement about the full text search. And they said it's in beta. Please go and kind of play around with it and see what you think about it. This is what they have to say about it. With handwriting recognition and optical character recognition, OCR, software, we can convert an image of text into a machine-readable text format, giving you the ability to search the full text of these records before they are even indexed. So for me reading that, even as someone that is pretty techie, what I translate that into is it's magic. It's some kind of computer magic that they've created, and I'm all here for it. Let them do it. And so what we're going to do today is just, it's going to be kind of a quick overview of the new feature. I don't have a lot of time to be able to drill down onto all the different ways because they do have a lot of different ways that you can combine these searches on this website in order to really be able to pull out stuff. But if you've been doing any kind of research on even a Google search or Ancestry, you already kind of know how to do it. It's just thinking it in a different way, trying to figure out a new way to pull those records out. And so these are the records that they have now. And I'm going to tell you a story in the fact that in prepping this presentation, they've kept these same records. When they first opened it up in February, they only had the notarial records and the U.S. land and probate records. So since then, they've added these three other collections. And as of a week ago, when I started really kind of getting screen captures and all kinds of fun stuff, I did a search, and there was just a person's name, first and last name. There was 64 million hits on just that first and last name. As of Monday, I did the exact same search. There was 75 million hits. As of today, which is 3 days later, 79 million hits. So there's something that they're doing on the backside. Either the programming is learning how to read the handwriting better, or there's something else in play here, but they're really pulling down a lot of records that up till now have not been searchable because they are just images that they had in their collection that they hadn't been able to get indexed. So we're going to kind of go through this part of it really quickly. How many of you all actually use Family Search? Nice, that's impressive. And so I'm assuming all of you all have username and passwords. Okay, because some people use it and they don't, and that's fine. But in order to be able to do this service, you will need to have a username and password. Anytime anybody says that they don't and they're a little leery of it, I always let them know, go ahead and sign up for it. I have never gotten one spam email. I have not gotten them selling my name to some other crazy thing. They truly believe in only having their username and passwords for them. But the screen on the left is what it looks like whenever I sign in. And as you scroll down, yours may look a little bit different, but what you're looking for is you're looking for this here on the side that says Family Search Labs. And it may take you a while to find it, depending on how active your feed is. But you're going to look for that Family Search Labs. And then there's one that's called View Experiments. And when you click on that, it's going to take you to a page that looks similar to this. If they've added something else or changed something, it's going to be different. But this is what it looked like as of 2 days ago. And it's going to say expand your search with full text, and you're going to click on that. Once you click on that, it's going to change to this. And the reason why I'm giggling is because this is one of those screens that a week ago when I had it, it looked different. And so Monday when I pulled it up, I was like, oh no, they've done some stuff. So I ended up having to do a different screen grab. So this is just going to be your place that you're going to plug in all your information. You've got your, You've got your keywords right here. You've got your name section right here. You've got the place section and year range. Now, in the first ones that I'm going to do, and I'm going to actually go over to a live, this is live now, and I'm actually going to type in just my fail-safe search that I always do, if I can type. This is not my keyboard. So this is a search that I always do just to see kind of what's going on. Oh, look, now it's gone to 63 million. So it's all over the place as far as those numbers, but... Oh, well, that's interesting. Thanks for letting me know that.
There you go. Maybe.
No. Huh. Wow. Okay. Let's do it this way. How about that?
Yeah.
All right, there we are. Now remind me whenever I go back to it, I'll forget that I had done that. So what we're going to do here is just kind of play around with those search results.
Deborah, can you back up and go to where you enter the name, because we didn't see that.
Sure. Okay, so here's the screen. It looks identical to the one that we had before. And So now we're going to do the search. You can put in first name, last name, whatever. We're going to play around with this a little bit, so don't think that I'm forgetting any kind of searches. So we've got William Monday, which is my like third great grandfather. And so now we've got 63 million. I could sit and look through those. I'd have to pack a lunch and figure out how to, my husband would be very mad. But I could do that. Or I could figure out a couple different ways to narrow this search down a little bit. So across this, right here, you've got collection, year, place, or record type. The first place I would search, or I would kind of rein that number in a little bit, is just putting quotes around this. Because doing that is going to tell it, I only want you to look for this specific word combination. So now doing that, it goes down to 4,000, which is a much more manageable number. Now this is where you normally want to play around with these buttons right here: collection, year, place, and record type. So if I go to place, now I have the choice of, and this is where the record was recorded. Was it recorded in the United States? Was it recorded in Australia, Canada, or United Kingdom and Ireland? So I'm going to choose the United States. So now I have, on every one of these, you're going to have the option of clicking the apply button. So if the name that you're looking for is specific enough, you may only have 500 hits. And maybe you're like, that's fine. I can kind of noodle around with that, so let me do that. Then you can hit the apply button. But any one of these levels, you can hit that apply button, and that's where you're searching. So if I hit the apply button now, it's only for the United States. If I wanted to go to a very specific state, they're all listed here. So now let's go to Virginia. That's going to drop it down to 156, which is right here. If that's a manageable number for you, then you go ahead and do that. You hit the apply button. If not, and I want a very specific county, then let's go ahead and pick Prince William County. And if anybody knows a William Mundy out of Prince William County, please talk to me afterwards because we're related. And so I'm going to hit the apply button. And so now I've only got 8. So now you've got all of these that are coming back, and we'll play around with these in just a moment. But in order to kind of know a little bit better about how this search engine works, I'm like, let's play around with taking this off. So now I'm back up to 4,000. But let's add Prince William County over here. How is that going to change the algorithm of what it's looking for? So now if I click Prince William County and search, it only comes up with 8. The difference is in this and that other search is the fact that now in this body right here, it's got Prince William that it's actually searching within the body of the text. So this is helpful in case, I don't know, let's pretend that your family didn't stay in the same county forever, and they moved. So maybe there's a record in Breckinridge County, Kentucky, where he's referencing something in Prince William County, which happens. They do, power of attorneys over here where they're trying to settle an estate over here. So this is going to be helpful where you're searching for that particular name and that particular county being mentioned within the body of the text. So then if I wanted to add yet another search engine on here, let's pretend that we don't have Prince William County, but we want to add Virginia up here. Well, now I only have 6, but it's because within the body of this text, it's looking for Prince William County, William Munday, and Virginia all separately. So again, looking at it from that perspective, you may find a document in a county or a state that you had no idea that anybody was there that is referencing that county that you are actually looking in. So it's just another way of being able to kind of play around with those search parameters and getting it to do and look for certain things that you want it to look for. Now we're going to go back to just William Monday. And now we're going to play around a little bit with the collection. Those are going to be records that are, such as the name implies, Alabama wills and deeds, Arkansas wills and deeds. So this is where these two words together are found in these particular collections. So if you know that, let's go back to Virginia. Do we have Virginia? Look at all those United States stuff in there. So here's a United States Virginia legal, 1759, and there's 74 of those. What are those? Could be anything. In this particular case, it's minute books from the King and Queen County, Virginia, court minute books from 1858 to 1866. Now, the one thing that I have noticed in doing this is sometimes when they put these dates within the collection itself, sometimes those dates are a little off. It could be that that's when that record was, that book was started, or those records were started, and when it stopped, maybe 100 years later. So it really is a little bit of a guessing game on that part. But if you know specifically that maybe you're wanting to find a legal type of collection. So we have all of those that you can play around with. If you want to do the year, then again, it's the same thing. Choose year. You know it's 1700s. Within what decade of 1700s are you wanting to look at? Let's do 1770. And then we're going to hit apply. And now we have, maybe you didn't know how many William Mondays there were in 1770 in all the different colonies. Well, now you know that there's at least 28 that he's done some type of record. Now, are they all the same guy, or are they, in different areas? It's, again, part of the game of playing. Now, the last thing is where it says record type. Those are different than the collections because the record type are going to be more exactly what they've got here: medical records, government records, periodicals, genealogies, school records. All of those, you find one of those school records, you apply, and here's a William Monday from England who was admission to the hospital in Greenwich. So it's all about kind of just being able to narrow down what you can find. The best part that I think about this, and there's a lot of parts that I do like about it, one of the best parts that I like is the fact that you can actually build these a couple different layers to them. So let's pretend that you wanted the United States, you wanted Virginia, and we do the Prince William County again. We hit apply. Well, if we click place again, and you do United States, and we do Virginia, but this time we want to go through Fauquier County. So if I click Fauquier County and I hit apply, now it's going to combine those two. So if you know of an area where your people are living and you start looking at those maps from the time frame and you're like, well, this county is now encompassing other, back then it was encompassing other counties that are today. It was the parent county for another county. Now you can start layering those together and you can start building a picture of here's all the people in this general vicinity that has this name. And so maybe you might find something where he's doing something in one county, it's recorded in another county, but it's because it's on a county line or because it's the parent county to that county for later on. There's all kinds of ways to kind of really think about being able to build that. And you can do even more than 3. I mean, even more than 2. You can do as many of them as you want to start layering in. So I really like that idea of it. And then you can even marry these together. Let's say you want the Prince William and the Virginia, but then we want to narrow it down to the 1800s. We want to do 1840 as opposed to any of the other time frame. Well, now you've narrowed it back down to just the 1840s and see, it even took out Prince William County on this because there wasn't a result for that. So it took it out on its own. So we have to watch on that a little bit. But it is good to be able to kind of like layer those through and see exactly, how you're doing that. Now that's all with just the name with the quotes around it. If we wanted to play around a little bit more with because they've got these search terms right here. And this is where I was saying that if you've done any kind of searching on Google or Ancestry, that you probably have done this, or maybe you haven't. Sometimes people don't really play around with those search fields or ways to be able to search stuff. So if you take the quotes off, almost hit the power button. But then I put William plus Monday. So now what it's doing is rather than looking for those words immediately side by side, it wants them together. That's going to change the results. And again, we're back to the Fauquier County, but we can take that out. Now we're to 63,000. Of course, that's a lot more than than having the quotes around it. But in this case, if you're combining that with multiple names, you can stack that as well. You can have William, you can have Lewis, and then you can have plus Monday, or even multiple pluses, William plus Lewis plus Monday. You can build all of that out and really have it looking for those words, because one of the drawbacks, and I kind of talk about this later on, is the fact that it's constantly learning. It's constantly learning. They've built this AI so that the more that it's being used, the more it's large language models that are going out and actually learning how to read this older handwriting. So the more that it plays around with it, it may not read Monday as that word. It may read it as something totally different. So that's where using these other symbols with it are going to be helpful. So we see what that looks like, the 63,000. But if we take the U out and put a question mark, as it says right down here, use the question mark, it will replace one letter. So now if we do that, it's going to be back up to the 63 million. And I don't think I can use the one drawback. Well, like I said, there's multiple drawbacks, but that's the other drawback, that if you want to try to use the quotes and the question mark, it won't let you do it. So what you would have to do is, in this case, take the quotes out. Oh, where's the delete button? There's something to be said about using your own computer, because not knowing where all the stuff is crazy. But using the plus and the question mark makes it so that it will read it the M-O-N-D-A-Y, M-U-N-D-A-Y. See, this one right here was highlighted, wasn't even highlighted. So it didn't even truly read it as that for whatever reason. So again, it's really playing around with how you're doing. And then there's the other one that you can do the asterisk And then that will bring back, like right here, Mounday. So again, it's just all playing around with the, things. And some people will say, well, I looked on there, my ancestor wasn't there. Okay, maybe he wasn't or she wasn't. But sometimes playing around with those results and trying to figure out, we were just talking about it just a minute ago, how could it have gotten messed up? And how can we search for it that way? I mean, we've been doing this for years. If anybody's been doing genealogy for years, everyone has stood in the library and looked at that index and go, okay, well, my name's not here, but let's see, how else could they have misspelled that last name? And searched under, gone down all the S's because you didn't know how they really truly spelled that last name. So it's kind of that thought process of how have they, or how has the computer not read it the right way. So that's that. Let me go to my, the last thing, one of the other things is don't think about it just being for names. Let's pretend that your people were in a very specific area. But again, maybe you don't know how they've messed up the last name. So let's try a place. So now we've got all the Dumfries that are being indexed. Is that a last name or is it a place? The one that I'm looking for is a place. And I know that it's actually in Virginia. But apparently there's 3,431 other ones, and there's some in Alabama, there's one in New Hampshire, there's a couple in Maine. Who knew that? I didn't. So here's Virginia. And then there's even this many mentioned in other records for all the other counties in Virginia. Here's the one that I always am looking for, which is Prince William County. So there's 408. Again, it's one of those ways of being able to put your ancestor in context. You know that they were living in that area. Are you researching those friends, associated neighbors that are, sometimes you find those records for the ones you're looking for in their records? This may be a way to do it. You know that they're living in Dumfries. Let's see what else is there. Could it have possibly been misread? Is it something that maybe you're going to end up finding something, in a court record that you didn't see before? So, that's just another one of those ways of being able to kind of do a search for it. Now, I will go back because everybody's like, well, you're showing us how to do all this. What does this truly do? I can see it on your faces. All right, so we're going to go back to my Prince William County, Virginia William Monday. And let's, I always right click and open in a new tab just so that I don't lose this list. It's just one of my little things. This is what the record's going to look like. Now, here's the name of the book. Here's the image. Here's all the other images around it. Here's this lovely transcription that we've yet to talk about. Here's the record. Now, why is this such a game changer? The reason why this is such a game changer is, one, not only because it is indexing records that they haven't got around to indexing yet, but this record right here is him buying, unfortunately, him buying an enslaved girl by the name of Sarah, who's 15 years old. But this record is only indexed in the court order, in the county deed books, by the person selling and the person buying. So what this allows us to do is, now if at any point in time he is someone down here as one of the witnesses, it's going to show up. it's going to show other deeds. And the only reason why I'm not showing you a deed for him is because this poor guy didn't have any property. So he would, but it's also when you're getting those deeds that, you know, John Jones is selling to Samuel Smith, and then it starts telling you all of the property and is laying out the poles and the rods and all the creeks and the trees and the stumps that they're by. It also will name those people that are to Jim Smith's corner and then to William Monday's other corner, or to, you know, those people that are in the description are never indexed. This capability this tool has the capability of finding those people that we never find before. So that's the beauty behind it. Aside from them quickly indexing stuff that it would have taken them years or maybe even decades to get indexed, it's also the beauty that it is indexing all of those people that would have never hit that index before. These two witnesses right here, the warders, they're not going to be in that index, in that grantor-grantee index. So, and if you're related to the warders, let me know too. So that's helpful to be able to really drill down and get and just find records that we would have never found before. The other one that I wanted to use as an example of not being able to find anything is this third one. And this is out of Will Book H with Inventories and Accounts, Prince William County. And what is so important about this one? Again, he's buying something at a sale. He's buying, if anybody can read that, I'm pretty decent, but a long jointer. It looks like axes. Yeah.
It's an adze, A-D-Z-E.
Yeah, there you go. And an auger. A couple of other things and an auger.
Compasses?
Maybe compasses.
Compasses.
Wow, that's news to me. So, for, you know, the low,
It's tools.
the low price of 12, was that 12 shillings? 5 pounds, 12 shillings? Yeah. And it's in 1800, and it is the estate of Thomas Leachman, deceased. Okay, well, again, in the court order book or in the deed book or even in the will book, it's only going to be indexed under the estate of Thomas Leachman. Now you've got all of these people that are around that were at the sale, so technically these are all his friends, associates, and neighbors. So now trying to find him, sometimes you have to research those people. So this is, again, putting boots on the ground on a very specific day in a very specific area, which is extremely helpful. So let's see. Is there anything else? Okay. So while I'm here, I'll also go ahead and show you this. I'll show it to you. I was going to show it to you later on, but while I'm here, I'll go ahead and show it to you. So all of this right here, the beauty of part of this program is the fact that Family Search, in their, of course, way of doing things, they've decided, well, here, I've already got this. I've already got the computer reading it. So why not allow you to have a full transcript of it? Some people will transcribe their documents and other people don't. I typically try to transcribe all the documents that I get for my ancestors when I'm doing research, because it allows me to slow down and truly read that document. Because the number of things that I have overlooked by just glancing and gazing, and just kind of flitting through it a little bit too fast has been game changing. I didn't realize that this said there was a will, but there's no will recorded. Well, come to find out they didn't want the will recorded, and then it becomes just an administrator rather than an executor. So there's a lot of little things in there. By being able to stop and slow down and transcribe it, it is helpful. So this, they've already transcribed it. Now, is it perfect? No. But If it's 90% there, then that means you only have to do 10% of correcting it. So you have a couple different choices of, do you want to download it or do you want a copy of it? And we'll get into that in a minute. So there's those two things. Now let's see if I can get back to this screen. I had a fail safe in case I couldn't get to the internet, so that's why I'm going forward all these things. Okay. Okay, so the couple of other little features that they have built in that I really like is, one, you've already seen the highlighting of the keywords. There's nothing more annoying than finding the record you think you want, going over to it, and now you're having to read all of it because they haven't highlighted it. So they've been nice enough to use it where that they can highlight the keyword. They've done the transcription of the document, which is what I just showed you. They also have a summary of the document if you want to just summarize what's there. They have that. They also have the ability to add names, and I'll show you that in just a second. And then they also have source citations. And that's nice because some people will use a research log and they want to actually have the source citation, so that in case they want to go back to it, they can put that in there. This microphone's cutting in and out. Oh, there it goes. So then if you want the transcript, as I showed you a while ago, you've got the copy, the choice for the download or for the copy. The downloading, when you want to do download, it gives you the option of either including the record image with the highlights, including the record image with no highlights, don't include the record image. Then you can also include the transcription and include the citation. So it's really however you want to download it. You have a couple different choices. And it depends on what you're using it for. If you're using it where you're wanting to include the transcript, then it's gonna download it where that it's got the image, and then I think it's on another page it's got the transcript. So those are all choices. The other part is if you want to summarize, it's taken the transcription that they're using, and they've actually just used that transcription to summarize, which is helpful. Did I just totally? Oh, yeah. Sorry. So are there drawbacks? Yes, there's plenty of drawbacks because one, it's still learning, just like anybody. I mean, none of us learned how to read 17th, 18th, and 19th century handwriting overnight. And so it does add an element of uncertainty to the search results. But the good news is that, as I said earlier, if we've been doing research for any length of time, or even if you haven't, but usually the people that date back to the books, that before we had indexes online of everything for the census records and stuff, some of us have done research in these census index books. And those were notorious for having things spelled wrong because whoever was putting the book together may not have been able to read that particular name. So again, we have been dealing with that for years. So it's really not anything new. But the good news is that, this machine is learning where the books is a static print and it'll never change. Well, I mean, unless you go in there and make a correction. I'm not advocating that, but I have seen where people have done that. And then that's it. I know it's short and sweet, but it has become a game changer for us. On any given day, most of us are looking in there to try to find stuff so that we can help applications and not have them, held up for pending, or maybe it just needs a little bit more solid building, and we've been able to do that. So, that's it.